Welcome back everyone to the channel today. I'm bringing you an unexpected video, a video that I wasn't really expecting to make today, but we're going to be discussing two names that have been linked with a move to the racecourse ground. Before we get started in today's video, if you are looking for all the best up-to-date Wrexham FC news, matchday vlogs, just Wrexham FC content in general on YouTube, then this is the place to be. So get down there, subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 14,000 subscribers. Thank you ever so much for your support over the last few weeks. It's been absolutely incredible, and let's get talking transfer news. So you may have seen on Twitter this morning that Ryan Barnett has been linked with a move to Wrexham FC. According to a credible source on Twitter this morning, Wrexham have agreed a fee with Solihull Moors to sign 23-year-old wingback/winger Ryan Barnett. Now, a bit about Ryan Barnett. He spent the past 3 seasons playing at Solihull Moors, playing 80 times in the span of 3 years, and most notably hasn't missed a league game this season for the Moors, so he's a very consistent player and he's able to keep fit. Some of Barnett's previous teams are Shrewsbury Town and Southend United, and we're going to have a look at the player now, his style of play, what his main attributes are. So as we can see by this heat map made for Ryan Barnett this season, we can see that he predominantly plays down that right hand side, most notably in the defensive half of the pitch, but at times he can press into the attacking half of the pitch. And what we can gather from this is that Barnett is more of a defensive player. He's very versatile as well down that right hand side. Obviously we can see him playing right wing back in this heat map, that's where he spends most of his time, and then obviously he can push forward into that right wing role if necessary. Solihull Moors fans have described him as a winger. Whether we'll be bringing him in, if the rumours are true obviously, as a winger, I'm not entirely sure, because our current formation doesn't play wingers, so I'm assuming he'd be brought in to play down that right wing back side. When I did put up a tweet about Ryan Barnett potentially signing for the Reds this morning, a Solihull Moors fan did reply to that tweet saying that Barnett is always the first name on the team sheet. He's really tricky with the ball, he's fast, he's consistent. So sort of all the things that Anthony Ford does have about him. He seems like he's a really good player down that right hand side, and he seems like he's a real key player for Solihull Moors, and would be a massive shame if they did lose him to Wrexham. If we look at his in-depth stats this season, we can see that Barnett makes 6.56 crosses per game compared to Anthony Ford, where Ford makes 4.16 crosses per game. Barnett makes 6.81 dribbles per game, whereas Ford makes 3.26 dribbles per game. So we can clearly see from these stats that they're quite even in terms of how they defend and how they attack. Barnett seems to be more of an attacking threat, making more dribbles, wanting to take on a man. But then where we go over to see that on the crossing stat, they're fairly similar. And then in the defensive end of the pitch, we can see that Ford makes more defensive duels per 90 minutes in a game and is more consistent and has a higher accuracy of winning those duels. But we can't really take anything massively away from these stats, but what we can see is that if we did decide to sign Ryan Barnett for that right hand side, we'd have 2 quality right wing backs who possess similar qualities. And I think it'd be important to continue to improve and strengthen our squad, because we're coming to a really important end of the season, and you can see that Wrexham aren't having the best of luck when it comes to keeping players fit, especially down that right hand side. And like I said, we can see from this that Barnett is a similar player to Anthony Ford, has a similar playing style to Ford. He likes to get crosses in the box, is more effective in the attacking phase of the pitch. So we're going to be talking now why Wrexham decided to go out and sign Ryan Barnett from Solihull Moors. Obviously this isn't a done deal, I can't stress that enough. This isn't a done deal, but it's been announced by a credible source on Twitter who've got many transfers right, so we can sort of gather that there is some truth in this rumour. So for me, I believe Wrexham FC have decided to go in for Barnett just because we're really struggling. At the minute, we're struggling down that right hand side for options. We obviously saw Hassan got injured in our last league game against Southend United, and Reece Johnson did suffer an injury away at Altrincham, so immediately that is 2 players that are out of our options down that right hand side, leaving us with only Liam McAlinden, who Wrexham fans will know he isn't a right wing back. We're playing him massively out of position. Left wing back was a push, because he's obviously left footed. We decided to put him on that left hand side. He had a couple of good games coming off the bench, but for me he's more of an attacking player, and I don't think I'm being harsh in saying this, but I don't think McAlinden is that good defensively. And obviously when we did sign McAlinden, he came in as a striker from Morecambe, and I don't think we've seen McAlinden play up front once for us, and obviously he's just clearly not suited to go from playing as a striker at Morecambe to then going to play right wing back for Wrexham. And I can totally understand why Parky has decided to go in the market for another right wing back. And also with Barnett's main attribute being his ability to create chances by crossing the ball in the box. He's made 214 crosses this season alone for Solihull Moors, 55 more than Adam Chickson in second place. So this will be key for our tall physical strikers in the air, Ollie Palmer, Sam Dolby, to get their head on it, because obviously we know that they're aerial threats. And I'll be honest, we haven't got the ball in the box as much as we've liked to this season. Obviously, we've been without Aaron Hayden for a large period of this year, 2023, so we haven't really been going for the crosses as much, and the toes throws haven't really been working. But I think if we get the crosses in from Ryan Barnett on the right hand side onto Ollie Palmer or Sam Dolby's head, then I think we'll create a lot more chances and score a lot more goals. Like I said, I think this is Parkinson working his wonders again in the transfer market. I think this is a really, really smart bit of business from Parkinson if the deal is truthful and if the deal is in the works. And obviously it's an area that we definitely 100% needed to strengthen, as we've seen the injuries that we've sustained in that position in the last few weeks. So that was a bit of an in-depth analysis on Ryan Barnett, why we should sign him, his main attributes, what he can do well and how he's effective on the pitch. And now we're going to be moving on to the second name that has been rumoured to be making a move to the racecourse ground. And that man is Cav Miley. Now this is obviously another name that's been linked with a move to the racecourse ground. The Jersey-born midfielder has been linked in the past few days by a few credible sources on the Southend end of the media side of things. And obviously with the situation going on at Southend United, if the players don't get paid on time, then they are eligible to walk away and become immediately available for free on the transfer market. Miley currently plays his football for 6th place Southend United in the National League, playing 31 times this season, proving to be the rock in the heart of their midfield. He's a left-footed midfielder, plays on the left side of the midfield, so this is a no-brainer. He'd be a perfect replacement for the currently injured Tom O'Connor on the left-hand side of our midfield. Now, not only is Miley a rock in the midfield of the Southend United team, making 36.94 passes per matches, but he's also effective when it comes to the defending side of the game. He's made 8.93 joules per 90 minutes, which reminds me a lot of Tom O'Connor. He's versatile. Miley can play in the midfield, can do an effective role there, and when it comes to defending, he's also effective in that back five. Very similar to Tom O'Connor when we saw O'Connor drop into the back five a lot of times this season for the Reds. But there is a bit of a twist when it does come to Miley potentially leaving the club. Southend did actually state 4 days ago that no formal approach had been made by Wrexham FC to come in for Cav Miley, but having read this statement, I still believe if Miley does become available, if Southend go bust, which I'm praying that they don't go bust because it's a horrible situation that any football fan doesn't deserve to go through, and let's hope and let's keep our fingers crossed, even though they're challenging for promotion with us, and we may come head to head with them if we don't win the league in the playoffs. So every fan watching this, just cross your fingers that Southend do survive. But we're just going to imagine that if Southend do unfortunately go under and Miley does become immediately available, I think this is a no-brainer for Wrexham. We should go in for him. We should do anything to get him. And I don't think it'd be massively hard to get him in because he's not been linked with any other clubs. I think Wrexham now, especially under the takeover, definitely have that pull power to bring anyone in from this division. And obviously in the time that Tom O'Connor is injured, I think Miley would perfectly fit in that midfield three alongside Luke Young and either Jordan Davis or Elliot Lee. So the chances of Miley coming to the racecourse ground, I'm not entirely sure. I think it's 50-50 for now. Obviously the rumours can't have just been made up. There must be some truth behind them. But then again, he seems happy at Southend. He did an interview today saying how much he was enjoying it there and how good the fans were. So it will be interesting to see what happens. For me, I'm swaying more to the side that he won't come to Wrexham. And then the final bit of the video, we're going to be talking about Rob Lainton, who has signed a 1-year deal to extend his stay at Wrexham FC. I'm delighted for Rob. Obviously he's been through thick and thin. He's recovered well from multiple injuries that he's suffered many times across previous years. He's come back stronger, and I think this contract is thoroughly deserved. Now it's all about the question, can he fight back and make his way and become our number one? Let me know in the comment section down below, who do you think should be starting, Mark Howard or Rob Lainton. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to drop a like. Let's try and let's go for 200 likes on today's video. And yeah, I'll see you in another video. Fingers crossed we'll have Barnett sometime soon. Up the Reds. See you in the next video, which will probably be tomorrow for the Dorking vlog. See you guys then.